I remember the day Sarah and I started dating like it was yesterday. It was the beginning of this beautiful journey, a journey that I had invested so much into. A year. 1 year I'd been with her, but it had felt like both a fleeting moment and an eternity all at once. Throughout the past year, my life revolved around her in ways I never thought possible. I had planned romantic dinners, spontaneous weekend getaways, and even cozy movie nights, all centered around what would make her happy. It might have all started with simple, sweet dates, but quickly became more than just casual outings. It was building a life together. At least, that's what I thought. I found myself caught up in making every moment special. I scrimped and saved to buy her that iPhone she'd been eyeing. I knew it wasn't just a phone for her. It was a connection to the world, a tool she could use to create and capture memories. It showed her that I cared, that I listened. Then came the little presents, delicate silver earrings, a beautiful necklace. Each gift seemed like a small token of the love I held for her. But the cat? That was the ultimate gesture born from love. I had never even wanted a cat, but one day she mentioned how much she adored them, and without thinking twice, I took the plunge. I bought a fluffy Persian cat, fully realized that I would be the one cleaning the litter box, buying her the expensive food, and taking her to the vet. Yet it wasn't phased. I thought the joy it would bring Sarah was worth all the trouble and effort. So there I was, owning a cat that would soon become her pride and joy, all the while hoping that every act of love would build a stronger bond, a solid foundation for our relationship. I was hopeful, blinded by optimism, thinking that eventually Sarah would see my devotion and love me back just as deeply. As we approached our 1 year anniversary, I was excited and nervous. I had dreamy visions of how the day would unfold. Perhaps a romantic dinner, a heartfelt exchange of promises, maybe even a proposal. I want to make it unforgettable. I imagined nights spent reminiscing about all the beautiful memories we had made leading up to this point. But instead, as the day dawned, we found ourselves discussing a simple Instagram post to mark our anniversary. Nothing extravagant, just a typical couple's tribute full of cute photos. When she handed me her phone, I felt that familiar flutter of love and excitement. "Here, pick out your favorites," she said, her voice brimming with enthusiasm. It felt like a moment we were sharing, the act of collecting our memories together. I couldn't help but smile as I started scrolling through her recently favorited photos. There were shots of our adventurous outings, silly selfies, and those candid moments that made my heart swell. But then my heart dropped. I reached a video. My finger froze over the play button. It was Sarah, in bed, with another man. The reality hit me like a brick wall. I felt the air around me dissipate. This wasn't just a casual moment captured. This was an intimate exchange between her and someone else. They looked comfortable, familiar, lined together in a way that crushed me completely. I could barely register her soft touch on his hair, the same way I thought she only touched me. That's when the betrayal became palpable, an explosive surge of emotions flooding my senses. Anger, disbelief, hurt, a cacophony of feelings that I hadn't prepared myself for. My breath felt labored as I palmed the phone back to her before the video completed, saying something robotic, almost empty. "Check your photos next time." I felt sweat forming on my palms and tears threatening in my eyes. I stood up and left without looking back. I could hear her calling after me, but I was trapped in my whirlwind of thoughts, a storm raging inside. "Mark, wait. It was years ago," she pleaded. But those words meant nothing to me at that moment. The rational part of my brain understood it was in the past, yet my heart was breaking into pieces. I could not reconcile the love I felt for her with the betrayal I had just unearthed. I never anticipated that something like this would rip through the fabric of our relationship. As I walked out the door, the world outside felt surreal, as if I was detached from it all. I remember taking deep breaths, trying to ground myself, but struggling to rid my mind of the image that had taken hold. That one moment, that one video, felt like a thief that had stolen away my peace, my trust, and my happiness. It felt as if I had uncovered a part of Sarah that she hadn't shared with me, a hidden chapter of her life tucked away in a corner of her favorites that I had never known existed. Days turned into long, sleepless nights. The video played on repeat in my mind, each viewing exacerbating my pain. I could hardly focus on anything else. I found myself grappling with painful questions. Was my love not enough for her? What was it about that guy that made her feel something special? Was I merely a placeholder, a consolation prize, while she held on to these fading memories of a past love? I couldn't escape the haunting thought that no matter what I had given her, it would never compare to what she had once shared with someone else. In those silent hours, the anger often flared up, ripping through me like a raging fire. I raged against her, against myself, even against fate. Why was the universe so cruel? Why did I have to come across that video on our anniversary of all days? I felt betrayed by her, yes, but also betrayed by the very idea of love itself. Wasn't love supposed to be about trust, about sharing everything? How could she hold onto a piece of her past and hide it so well, all the while claiming she was committed to our future? But then the anger faded into despair. The video became a symbol of my confusion and my heartbreak. Each time I tried to gather my thoughts, a wave of grief crashed over me, reminding me of that intimate moment I had glimpsed. It wasn't just the act of betrayal. It was the realization that my investment, all my efforts, were suddenly overshadowed by a piece of her life that I hadn't known existed. I felt lost, trapped in a labyrinth of confusion and heartache. I often found myself sitting in silence, running through our memories. I tried to sift through the moments we'd shared, the laughter, the teasing, those evenings curled up watching movies. I questioned everything. Was it real, or had I just been part of her backup plan? Could she still care for me if she held this secret close, something that, while buried, was meant enough for her to keep? Did she ever truly love me? Or was I always just a fleeting shadow of someone who had come before? Every thought was debilitating, an endless loop of self-doubt and despair. I wonder if I would ever truly find a way to move past this. Did I still want to? I didn't even recognize myself anymore. I had become a stranger to my own heart. In those quiet moments of reflection, I began to realize that I had to confront this pain head-on. I had to decide if I could still choose her, if I could still love someone who had kept such a significant part of their life hidden from me. The thought felt impossible, daunting, but there was still a part of me that wished for redemption, for healing. Could we work through this? Or was there an irreparable crack in our foundation? As days passed, the questions lingered in my mind like buzzing flies. I knew I had to face Sarah, to express the storm of emotions raging inside me. I couldn't be silent. I owed it to myself to voice my pain, my anger, and my confusion. Whether it was worth salvaging or if our relationship was too far gone, I needed to confront her directly for my own peace of mind. Eventually, I returned to her. I approached her with caution, knowing that this conversation would define everything moving forward. When I stepped inside, Sarah was sitting on the couch, her face hidden in her hands, tears streaming down. My heart ached at the sight, but I couldn't let empathy sway me. I needed to be resolute. I would not shy away from my feelings. It was time to lay everything out on the table. "Can we talk?" I asked, my voice shaky but firm. She nodded, a look of apprehension mixed with hope crossing her face. I took a deep breath, summoning every ounce of strength. "You know why I'm here?" I began. "I found the video, and it shattered everything I thought we had." Her eyes widened, and she began to speak, but I raised my hand to pause her. "Please, let me finish. I need to voice my pain, and I won't hold back anymore." "I can't." I felt the tears pooling in my eyes, my heart racing. "I want to share this whole year with you, to build something meaningful, but seeing that video made me feel like my love was one-sided. Like no matter what I did, it could never compete with what you shared with him. With every word I spoke, I saw the hurt blossom in her eyes. I continued, pouring my heart out, feeding the emotions that had consumed me since that day. You say that was years ago, but holding on to that video shows a part of you I never knew existed. I feel betrayed, like I was merely a placeholder for something you couldn't let go of. As I spoke, I noticed the tears streaming down her face. I watched as she struggled to process my words, her lips trembling as she grasped for the right response. But I wasn't finished. I don't want to lose you, but right now, I feel lost. I need to know if there's anything that can bridge this gap between us. Can you be honest with me? Do you truly want us? Or is a part of you still anchored in that past? Finally, she spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. Mark, I never meant to hurt you. I didn't even know that video was still there. I thought I'd moved on, but every time I think about it, I feel this weight and guilt. I loved you while being haunted by that moment. I never meant for you to find out this way. It feels awful. The sincerity of her words cut through some of my anger. I could see the remorse in her eyes, but still, the questions remained unanswered. Could I accept this apology? Could we tear down the wall this video had built between us, brick by brick? The ensuing silence felt heavy, but I knew this was just the beginning of our conversation. It would take time, and trust would need to be rebuilt step by step. There was a path forward, but it was fraught with complexity and uncertainty. And so, the journey continued, not just to heal, but to discover if we could redefine our love, now with this shared understanding of our intertwined pasts. As I reflect on it all, I know this experience has tested my concept of love, trust, and vulnerability. I have to decide if I can move on from this pain, but I also realize that sometimes those moments of heartbreak can lead to profound growth. The journey ahead won't be easy, but I have to take it one step at a time. Love, after all, isn't just about navigating the good times. It's also about surviving the storms together.